Coming up on Cronkite NewsWatch.
The Defense of Marriage Act goes to the Supreme Court tomorrow, but there's already a line out the door. How these people are battling the snow for a warm seat inside.
Plus, how an Arizona research group is finding ways for rubber to grow on trees.
And
20 years ago, I would be able to tell you that I wasn't able to assist you at this store because it was so busy.
Team coverage of home runs and strikeouts at the border.
In-depth, insightful, innovative. Cronkite NewsWatch starts right now.
Good evening and welcome to Cronkite NewsWatch. I'm Andrea Perez.
And I'm Christina Tatro. Thank you for joining us tonight.
Across the country, people have their eyes on the nation's capital as the Supreme Court prepares to hear two controversial cases.
The decisions could impact the lives of thousands of same-sex couples, and people are already lining up for a chance to be inside of the action.
Reporter Christina Sverjako talked to some of the people who have braved the cold temperatures for one of those coveted seats. She joins us live from our Washington bureau. Christina?
Andrea, despite the rain, snow, and cold temperatures, people have started gathering outside the courthouse as early as last Thursday, hoping to get a chance to be inside the Supreme Court as lawyers begin arguments on two cases dealing with same-sex marriage. More than 12 hours of steady rain and snow have made for less than perfect conditions for all those camped out front of the Supreme Court.
It was fine on Saturday. It was actually pretty nice. It was in the 60s and it was sunny, and there weren't that many people here yet, so it was fine. And then yesterday is when it started raining, and then it all went downhill.
But although Taylor Carter and her siblings have been in line for more than 72 hours now, they aren't actually going to be inside for the hearing challenging the passage of Proposition 8 in California.
Holding a spot for a friend that really wants to get in, but they can't wait in line.
On the other hand, Frank Colasanti Jr. and his partner James Parker Ryder, who've been together for more than 25 years, made special arrangements to not miss this week's hearings on two cases targeting same-sex marriage.
We actually planned our anniversary around this.
The two men can't legally get married in Michigan, where they're from, but they knew it was important to be in D.C. this week.
It's historical. It will be life-changing either way, how the court decides on those two issues. Hopefully it will be for the positive.
And although their sleeping area is now soaked and everyday luxuries of warm food and bathroom usage are limited, Colasanti says it is worth it.
We have to continue on. And again, if it's not for us, it's for people, LGBT, young people who will come after us.
The Prop 8 case will be heard tomorrow, and then the other case dealing with DOMA, or Defense of Marriage Act, will be heard on Wednesday. The decision on either of the cases is not expected before June. We will be there tomorrow and bring you all the details following the hearings. Live in Washington, Christina Sverjako, Cronkite News.
In the meantime, activists in our state are praying for marriage to be defended. The Center for Arizona Policy will host a prayer vigil tonight, hoping to keep marriage between one man and one woman. The center released a statement earlier this month saying, "The most important thing we can do is pray. Pray for our friends and allies defending these laws in court, and pray for wisdom and courage for the 9 justices to do what is right." The prayer vigil is tonight at 7 at the Sandra Day O'Connor Federal District Courthouse in downtown Phoenix.
The Supreme Court is also broadening its examination of affirmative action today. The court is adding a case about Michigan's effort to ban race from consideration during college admissions. This comes after the court's decision to tackle a similar case with the University of Texas, which uses race to decide their freshman class every year. The Michigan case focuses on the 6-year-old ban on affirmative action, as well as the appeals court ruling overturned the ban. And today, Senator John McCain is not in Washington, D.C., grilling someone on the Hill, but here in the Valley, preparing to be grilled by his constituents. Reporter Leslie Marin just returned from his latest town hall meeting in Phoenix. And Leslie, was this one as rowdy as his last one?
Well, Christina, Senator McCain was actually applauded throughout his entire meeting today. Even pro-immigration groups who normally stand up against the senator held thank you signs.
Folks that have the thank you sign, we're here. Say thank you. Thank you.
The thank you signs commended the senator for his recent work with the Gang of 8 on a new immigration reform plan. McCain also talked about his views on gun control and how sequestration could cut nearly $101 million from education, health, and labor programs in Arizona.
It's going to have to be paid for. And unless we stop this mortgaging of our children and grandchildren's future, there cannot be Medicare, there can't be Social Security, there can't be any of these programs because the country will be broke.
Senator McCain will hold his next town hall meeting tomorrow night in Oro Valley at 4 p.m. Live in the Media Center, I'm Leslie Mudding.
28 people became citizens today after President Obama hosted a naturalization ceremony at the White House. The president was joined by Homeland Security Secretary Janet Napolitano in honoring the new citizens. During the ceremony, the president took the opportunity to discuss immigration reform.
We've known for years that our immigration system is broken. The time's come for a comprehensive, sensible immigration reform.
Immigration reform talks are moving forward in the Senate, but a bill has not yet been introduced. The bill is expected to be finished before Congress returns from recess in 2 weeks.
Days after the president left the Middle East, Secretary of State John Kerry continues his own tour, making a stop in Afghanistan today. Kerry met with Afghan President Hamid Karzai to discuss peace talks with the Taliban. The Secretary of State says he and the Afghan president are on the same page when it comes to the peace talks. At a press conference following the meeting, Kerry praised the country's commitment to safe, secure, and transparent elections scheduled for April of next year.
Efforts towards peace in the Middle East continue moving forward as Israel tax revenues for Palestinians resume. Israel Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu announced today that Palestinians will receive as much as $100 million a month. These funds were previously frozen after the United Nations endorsed a de facto Palestinian state in the West Bank. An advisor to the Palestinian Prime Minister says Israel will likely transfer the money regularly.
Progress on the newest light rail extension in Mesa has been stalled. The Mesa City Council is having trouble negotiating the purchase of 23 properties that are required for that 3-mile extension. Officials have approved the eminent domain step as a backup plan. Now that would give the city power to seize the property without the owner's consent. The $200 million extension plans to be finished by late of 2015. And when it comes to Arizona's money-making industries, the state is known for its 5 C's, but soon the letter R could be added to that list. Reporter John Genovese is live in downtown Phoenix to explain how. John?
Yeah, Christina, we're talking about a shrub that grows naturally in the Southwest, but it could be Arizona's next cash crop. Its potential is drawing one of the world's biggest tire companies to open up a research center right here in the valley. We wanted to find out more about the plant and why some companies are taking the risk for a new source of rubber.
These here are more of the resins and stuff that you see.
For decades, Dr. Bob Roth has worked at the University of Arizona's Maricopa Agricultural Center, developing new methods to grow and process local plants.
We're looking for varieties that have high rubber yield, a high percent of rubber.
He's talking about waiuli, a shrub native to the Southwest that produces natural rubber in its bark and roots.
We can take the plant, which has the latex and rubber is in the woody tissue. We can crush it, use water to separate it from the woody tissue, then separate it out by specific gravities to get the latex out.
Getting the latex out is drawing businesses in. Bridgestone recently announced a plan to open a nearly 300-acre research farm in Eloy and a processing center in Mesa.
So as we look at a critical material whose price is escalating, that's a challenge, but it's also an opportunity for us to look out of that traditional supply base.
Bill Niora, Director of New Business Development for Bridgestone, says industrial rubber is typically made from the Hevea tree and grown in Southeast Asia. But as labor and development costs go up, companies are branching out.
Bridgestone doesn't plan to open their Eloy farm until 2015, but they're getting a head start. They've already planted 30 acres of waiuli right here in Maricopa.
The fortunate aspect of waiuli and a number of other rubber-producing species is that the rubber is the same grade, the same quality.
A quality that Dr. Roth says could lead it to become Arizona's next cash crop.
We plant it and grow it for 3 years and then harvest it, just the tops. We're looking at about 1,000 pounds of rubber per acre.
With more acres and opportunities expected to sprout up in the coming years.
And Bridgestone recently broke ground on the Eloy farm. They hope to do the same with the research center in the coming months. The company hopes to have trial rubber production up and running by 2015. We're live in downtown Phoenix. I'm John Genovese, Cronkite News.
Coming up on NewsWatch,
What once was a thriving business area is now struggling to survive. How Nogales is working toward building up its businesses.
It would help a lot with the whole city because there would be something to do instead of doing bad things.
How the border town is using baseball to clean up its reputation.
How do we educate in a rapidly changing world?
How can we create a sustainable way of life?
How can we teach peace?
Arizona State University. Rise to the challenges before us.
Do you love taking pictures? Now you can share them with everyone. Join 8's online photo community that's all about you. Visit azpbs.org/capture for rules and information and start submitting today. When you want to be more connected, friend us on Facebook, follow us on Twitter, watch us online.
As the economy starts to rebound for many Valley businesses, one business community in Arizona is still fighting to get its buyers back. I traveled to Nogales recently where I found out what their businesses on the border are doing to stay afloat.
Both of us are working very hard to assure that trade and those lines are reduced with time.
Those were the words of Mayor Arturo Carino of Nogales, Arizona, when discussing some of the key issues the border town is facing at last week's State of the City address. For years, the city of Nogales, Arizona had been known to be a place where Mexican visitors would go and shop. But for warehouse owner Jorge Felix, that hasn't been the case lately.
20 years ago, I would be able to tell you that I wasn't able to assist you at this store because it was so busy.
And being able to stay busy has been a daily struggle for Felix and his business these past couple of years, especially as American tourists have avoided the area and tourists from Mexico are also staying away.
This area right here fully depends on the commerce of the Mexican citizens. I could say that the majority of the people that come and shop here are from Mexico.
Local businesses here in Nogales are suffering because long lines like these are making it hard to get into town to bring in business.
To cross over to Nogales, Arizona, you have to sometimes wait 1 or 2 hours if crossing by foot, and sometimes 2 or 3 hours by car. So this is really affecting the business on this side.
But Mayor Garino is working with Sonora, Mexico to make sure that these wait times along the border are reduced so more money and business can be brought in.
One of the issues right now that we've been dealing with is trying to simplify or facilitate either with different tactics by Homeland Security or technology.
Felix says anything that can bring new people and new money to the border is critical if he is going to be able to survive the downturn.
I feel like every day and every year the business gets slower. You can see it in your sales.
Many people stayed away because of their fears of possible crime at the border town. But the mayor says the city is safer than ever and the crime rate is actually going down. He's asking tourists to come and take a look for themselves.
While our Cronkite News team was in Nogales, we found out the town is using America's pastime to change its dangerous image. Reporter Laura Monti is live in our media center with this new venture to bring new money into the tourist town.
In a few months, there'll be a new group of visitors pouring into Nogales. At least that's what city officials are hoping for as they prepare to welcome a new minor league baseball team to town.
Since we were 5, and cousins too.
Playing baseball at a young age is common in Nogales culture. That's why the American West Baseball League saw the city as the perfect place to host a new minor league team, the Nogales Desert Ghosts. And for high school players like Julian Vega, having the international players come to town was exciting.
I was very excited because we were going to get to know players that advance more than us.
And while Julian hopes it's good for him on the field, the mayor of Nogales thinks it's also good for the city off the field.
That is image building for our city. That's where the direction we got to go.
That direction the city wants to go is to attract the large populations in Mexico and Arizona and use its borders to their advantage.
The border accounts for $26 billion of annual economic activity for the state of Arizona, and that number needs to continue to increase.
Nogales analyst Aaron White knows a new team will not only bring in new revenue to restaurants and shops, but it will finally get people talking about the city in a new light.
It's something to tout, to say, you know, Nogales doesn't just have ports of entry, and it doesn't just have great tacos and great places to eat. We also have great entertainment.
Something that everyone can agree on is that the future of Nogales is changing for the better, even for its local players who can now see a positive future too.
It would make it easier for scouts to come and look at us. I would really like to play for that team.
The challenge now is trying to schedule all the teams that currently practice at the stadium. The high school players told me that they love the facility because it's beautiful, but now they're going to have to share that with a new team. A small price to pay, though, for all the new revenue that could be coming in. The new season begins in June. Live in the Media Center, I'm Lauren Monti, Cronkite News.
Coming up on NewsWatch.
Shopping for allergy medicine could be confusing and expensive. Find out what natural remedy treatments we have for you up next.
Spring season is here. We have beautiful temperatures, flowers are in full bloom, but that also means that there's some intense allergies going on. We'll have your pollen levels, your national and local forecast when we come back.
One tremendous thing about PBS is that it makes art accessible by putting it on a platform where millions of people can access it for free. And we need it. We need music, we need dance, we need great theater for our soul, for joy in our lives. A lot of people flip on PBS and hear or see something that wakes up that integral part of being a human being, which is enjoying the arts of other human beings. So I'm grateful for PBS as an artist and as a viewer.
I came to the United States when I was 24 years old. I did not speak any English. I felt very, very lost, really not knowing what to do with my life. One day on TV, there was Sesame Street. Ernie and Grover and Cookie Monster, and it's not only that I learned to speak in English, now I know how to live in the United States, so this is how you do it. Now I'm powerful. Now I know I can do anything I want. I will make myself learn how to do it. And I got that from PBS. I bought my first set of paints and brushes, and I practice. My path is children's books, and I have found who I wanted to be, which is that person who has something to say. PBS and Sesame Street, they open up the world to me.
If you have been suffering from itchy eyes, sinus headaches, or a case of the sniffles, you are not alone. This year's allergy season is proving to be one of the worst in years. Reporter Sarah Edelman joins us live from downtown Phoenix. And Sarah, even though the blooming trees and flowers sure do look beautiful, they're really creating some challenges for people.
As you can tell, it's a windy day outside, which is bad news for people who suffer from allergies. But some of the best remedies may not be found at your local drugstore.
It's allergy season and it's far from over. Doctors say this is one of the worst allergy seasons they've seen in years. And local pharmacies are being slammed with customers suffering from the brutal symptoms.
It's pretty bad to where I can't even see out my eyes because I'm tearing up so bad.
And allergy sufferers like Jessica Bowie, a full-time ASU student, have a cabinet full of medicine to choose from.
I usually do Zyrtec or Claritin. Claritin works the best for me because it's non-drowsy.
And even though the medicine box says non-drowsy on it, Jessica says that the medicine still drastically affects her energy level.
And while some people can take medicine like these, others can't because it makes them sick or drowsy. But there's still hope out there for people who are suffering.
The thing with the medicines, over-the-counter medicines, is that they can also help just to treat the symptoms, but they don't really address the true underlying cause.
Naturopathic physician Lorinda Kwan says that treatments like homeopathy can eliminate all of the side effects you find in artificial medicine.
So with homeopathy, you stimulate the body to heal itself, and what it does is it balances out that allergic response, so it's a healthier response.
Dr. Kwan also suggests eating a clean diet and taking the recommended dose of vitamin C to help the body fight off allergies. And at this point, sufferers like Jessica are willing to try just about anything.
I'm just sneezing 10 times in a row, and it really distracts me from what I'm doing.
Now, doctors suggest a hot shower twice a day to remove any pollen and residue. Live in downtown Phoenix, Sarah Edelman, Cronkite News.
Did someone order a slushie? Winter Storm Virgil is burying springtime hopes under a blanket of white, heavy snow. Students in Knoxville, Tennessee are battling old man winter during their spring break, and their campus looking like a snowy ghost town. 16 inches of snow slammed Pennsylvania, and places like Central Illinois reported several accidents. Springfield, Illinois set a one-day snow record of 18.5 inches. And as you can see on this beautiful map behind me, the current temperatures where the snow is actually being slammed right now are actually above freezing point. So these places are not going to be seeing the snow stick for very long, which is great for them. And you know what? A lot of people are referring to this time as madness. How are they getting winter weather in springtime? Well, you know what? Weather Channel is kicking up their own March Madness going on right now. They've created their own brackets. Arizona was part of it, but now we're into the final 8, going down to our final 4. Marquette, if we're strictly going off of numbers, might win this one. They get 17 feet of snow per season. But like I said, Arizona is no longer a part of that bracket. And how could we be? Look at these temperatures. Up in the high country, we have 59 in Page, 66 over in Prescott, 81 down in Tucson. And you know what? The only thing that we really have to pay attention to is the pollen in the air, as Sarah was mentioning earlier. Here are our top 3. And if you're not sure of what these look like, here's an example. We have mulberry. And the other one over here is ash. So these are actually native pollen allergies. So if you are affected by these, you might want to be a little wary when you step outside. And if you're looking to go outdoors, it's a great time to do so. Look at our 5-day forecast. The only day that's looking like we might get a little bit of rain is on Thursday, but those chances are still very low. We're going to hit all the way to the 90s by the end of the week. So make sure that if you're stepping outside, you're prepared with those allergies and you really embrace that we are not battling any winter weather. That does it for your forecast. I'm Chelsea Davis, Cronkite Weather.
Coming up on NewsWatch.
Everyone's talking about the Miami Heat, but which NBA team is flying under the radar out west? And the Sweet 16 is set after a dramatic weekend in college basketball. We'll talk about the teams that crashed the big dance and busted brackets along the way. March Madness. They call it that for a reason, and the first week of the NCAA tournament has more than lived up to its nickname. Yes, some of the usual suspects are there, the Dukes, Louisvilles, and Kansases, but who had Wichita State in their bracket? Raise your hand if you had LaSalle advancing this far. And Florida Gulf Coast, they have stolen the spotlight as this year's biggest Cinderella. The Eagles of Florida Gulf Coast shocked the nation on Friday when they upset 2-seeded Georgetown, and their second act on Sunday made them the first 15 seed to ever make it to the Sweet 16. They ran, lobbed, and dunked their way to a thrilling win over San Diego State, and the tiny school in Fort Myers, Florida, has burst onto college basketball's front pages.
It's just a great feeling. So proud of these players, what they've been through for the last 2 years, and only second year of eligibility. It really speaks volumes.
A little farther south in Florida is the best basketball team in the world right now, the Miami Heat. LeBron James and his friends have not lost a game since February 1st, and they are in hot pursuit of the Lakers' record of 33 straight victories set in 1972. Miami went for number 26 last night against Charlotte without the services of Dwayne Wade, but this one was never in doubt. LeBron finished 2 boards away from a triple-double as Eric Spoelstra and his team inched closer to history.
We're trying not to take this for granted. It's a special opportunity for this group, but you honor this opportunity by staying in the moment. and we're not changing that now.
Everyone's eyes are on the Heat, but nobody seems to be noticing George Karl's Denver Nuggets, who, without an all-star in the bunch, have a little streak of their own going. With their victory Saturday against Sacramento, Denver won their 15th consecutive game. They have scored over 100 points in 14 of those contests, and the fast-paced, pressure-packed Nugs are climbing up the Western Conference standings. They'll look to keep it rolling tonight against the Hornets. ASU baseball expects contributions from freshmen this season, but Coach Tim Esme could not have expected this. Freshman lefty Ryan Kellogg tossed a no-hitter on Saturday in a win against third-ranked Oregon State. Kellogg pitched like a phenom, striking out 3 and staying perfect for the first 6 frames. It is the first Sun Devil no-no since 1993. Tiger Woods usually just wears red on Sundays, but he doubled up on his favorite color today when weather pushed the Arnold Palmer Invitational to Monday. Tiger entered the day with a 3-stroke lead and rode his hot putter all the way to his 3rd PGA victory of the year. The win marked his 8th at Bay Hill and returned Woods to #1 in the world for the first time since October of 2010. Tiger's reclamation project won't be complete until he wins a major, and with the Masters just a few weeks away, that could be next. After dropping 5 straight games, the Coyotes are going in the wrong direction. The recent slide has Dave Tippett's team 3 points behind Dallas for the 8th seed in the West. The Yotes will try to right the ship tonight against the Detroit Red Wings. That's it for sports. I'm Pat Maroney. Now back to you at the anchor desk.
And that's it for Cronkite NewsWatch tonight.
Thank you so much for joining us, and have a great night.